For the final time in 2025, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how the devil are we doing? My name is Luke Crane. I'll be one of your hosts today for this special event. Of course, we know the DTM eSports Championship is done and indeed dusted. Congratulations to Lucas Muller, who was our champion. But today we've got ourselves a special event. Like I just said, I'm Luke Crane. I'm one of your hosts, and I'm joined by the ever glorious Connery Maddock. Connery, how you doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, main season's done, but we get a little extra cherry on top here with the DTM eSports special event, which we'll be having this evening. Absolutely fantastic stuff. We'll get on into more of it in a second, Luke. But what a season we had of DTM eSports that finished not too long ago.
Yeah, absolutely. We went into the finale where there was 4 drivers that could win the championship. Lucas Muller, Isaac Price, Florian Hasse, and Tim Yarshall, who was the reigning champ, had an outside chance of winning it. And the championship changed hands 3 times during the final 2 races. Florian Hasse was leading at one point, Isaac Price was leading at one point, but most importantly, at the end, it was Lucas Muller that was leading and won the championship for 2025. So 4 years of DTM eSports, 4 different champions, which is always good. And the fact that we actually went down to the last lap, it was fantastic, because normally the last weekend or the last week, let's say the last 2 races, we know what's happened. We know who's going to win the championship realistically, but this time it really did go down to the wire. Anyway, on to today. This is a special event. Let's have a little look then at the timetable of what you can expect from today's festivities. Of course, we've got the stream start. We've just done that, so that's all done and dusted. One thing out the way. We're welcoming people. We've done that as well. 2 things out the way. Perfect. Hockenheim Ring, DTM 2024, the first race. A little 20-minute spectacle for you. Again, with the newest iteration of the DTM cars. We have indeed got ourselves some real racing drivers, some of the championship protagonists, or some of the championship drivers, let's say, from DTM eSports, and we have some content creators as well. Then we have race number 2 in the DTM 1995 cars, some old school cars, which if you watched any of the Community Cup races this season, the older cars provided some unbelievable action. And the race 2 will be at the Hockenheim Classic circuit. So if you're like me and old, you remember that from Formula 1, where there's some long straights. Instead of turning right at turn number 2, they just kept going, and then there was a couple of chicanes, and then they ended up back into the stadium section. But again, we'll get into that a little bit later. Then we'll have some interviews. I very much doubt we will have interviews, because it's hard enough getting the sim racers to join, let alone real racers and content creators, so maybe not. And then the stream will be over. But let's check out the entry list for tonight's racing action. So we've got ourselves some real drivers there, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen. And in the middle, we've got the DTM eSports drivers. And then on the right-hand side, we do indeed have ourselves the content creators. So we've got Lewis Hahn, who is a ADAC GT4 driver. He drives a BMW M4. Next Gen Cup driver next up is Lucas Steifenhagen, drives a little Mini. Tim Heinemann, of course, went from Sim to DTM, now racing in the GT World Challenge Europe in the Endurance and the Sprint, and also, of course, races at the NLS Championship as well. We've then got Nico Handke, who races in a GT3 for Scherer Sports. You've got Tommy Gore, who is an ADAC GT4 driver in the Audi R8. Benjamin Mazatis, who's the next Gen Cup driver. Tim Reiter, an ADAC GT4 driver for BMW M4. We've then got Krista Juns, who drives the TCR class in the NLS series, actually won the 24 hours of the Nürburgring this year. Also a winner in his class in the Nürburgring 24 hour is Michael Brautigam, who races in the SP3T. And then finally, we've got Tommy Arakel, who is an ADAC GT4 driver as well in a BMW M4. Then we've got Florian Hasse, of course, who had a chance to win a championship. Probably has a bit of a day of redemption today, because he caused a massive issue that you could probably say cost Isaac Price at least a chance of winning the championship. Turk Hakkinen, who was being one of the standout rookies of the DTM eSports Championship. Leonard Krippner, who was always up there at the sharp end. Tim Yarshall, of course, our reigning champ going into last week. Unfortunately, not the champion anymore. We got Mihal Neg, Bo Dixon, of course, and Phil Cravey are your DTM eSports drivers. And then we've got Gamer Muscle, John Monroe, Overtake.gg, driving for Overtake.gg. It's a funny thing to name your kid. Jean-Francois Chardon, known as JF Chardon, who is from KW Studios. Luca Kita, who is an unbelievable sim racer in his own right, and actually in the practice session matched what was pole position last week in the finale. He's very, very quick over on iRacing. And we've got Georg Ortner, who is a Race Room or KW Studios employee, but again was one of the top esports drivers on Race Room over sort of 5-6 years ago. Let's check out then, well, we've done the entry list. Let's check actually the finale highlights from last week. We're about to go green then for the sprint race. in the finale of the DTM Esports 2025 with the helicopter cam waiting for the lights to go green, and we are off and we're running. And Florian Hasse has got an absolute flyer. Tim Yarshall is being shuffled back. Lucas Muller is going to make his way up. Kaffenberg is probably going to end up in P4 as well, and Yarshall just has not got off the line. Kaffenberg's going to go all the way around. It's Ottaviani actually. Ottaviani potentially going to get up to third spot, which is fantastic news for Isaac Price.
As it stands at the moment. So what's going to happen between the two Falcon cars there? That's the situation as Muller sends it down the inside from quite far back on Ottaviani. Ottaviani's able to get the cut back off the corner though and keep a hold of that third place. Yeah, and then, well, there might be an opportunity for Yarshall to try and get past Ottaviani here as well. Maybe not in towards the... Oh, well, definitely into here then. Send down the inside into the cambered left.
Yeah, that's
incredible.
That's a really good move there. You could bet your bottom dollar, though, that Florian Hasse, if he's got a chance here, he's going to send it. That's for certain. Closing up into that slipstream, into the braking zone. They're coming. Florian Hasse not quite close enough to get involved here. As he touched him, he spun him around. He spun the championship leader around. And then Isaac's just rejoined in front of the RAG cars. Lucas Muller across the line. I don't think there'll be too much in terms of emotion there. Florian Hasse will have his tail between his legs. And Tim Yarshall, I think it's safe to say he's probably out of the hunt. The difference is 6 points. Isaac quite literally has to make an overtake to win the title. Lucas Muller needs to stay ahead to win the title. We've had 11 races in our 2025 season. We are in the 12th and final race. All we're waiting for now are those green lights to get us started for the DTM Esports Finale 2025. We're off and we're running down towards turn number 1, the kick. Isaac Price with a wonderful start once again will sweep through and potentially take the lead. Lucas Muller trying to hang on, and the two Falcon teammates get together. They're in it together, and it looks like Tim Yarshall is going to get ahead. Lucas Muller's dropped now from first down to third as Tim Yarshall sends it up the inside of Isaac Price. Is there contact? There is contact between the two of them. I tell you what, this is going to be even tighter. I think Florian Hasse might have got both of them. I think he might have got both of them here. How close is this going to be? He has. So Tim Yarshall is going to come out behind him, and it does come down to this. Isaac Price has to make the move to win. To round in the final couple of corners here, ladies and gentlemen. Florian Hasse is going to take the victory here. It will push him into second position in the championship. Tim Yarshall will finish in second spot, and he will indeed finish fourth in the championship. Isaac Price will finish third in the race and third in the championship. But by my calculations, Lucas Muller, by crossing the line in fourth position, will be your DTM Esports champion 2025. His first major championship, the third German to indeed have that title. Well, oh boy, that was a very, very interesting, sweaty, crazy finale, the craziest finale we've ever had in DTM Esports, and I'm hoping you all enjoyed it who was watching it at home. Not only do we need to talk about the champion, there were so many new names that sort of announced themselves as a Race Room Esports top-end driver as well, which is fantastic to see. It's good to see that the esports side of things on Race Room is still very, very strong. We've got the Beat the Pro graphic here as well. You can race against a real DTM driver and win some cool prizes at the Nürburgring on the 9th of the 8th, 2025 at 5:30. So there we go. Race against Ben Durr.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to get yourself involved in these sorts of things. We don't know what those cool prizes are just yet. We didn't quite get that information. However, still a fantastic opportunity to get yourself involved in some form or fashion inside of DTM and, of course, DTM Esports as well. But in terms of the actual racing we'll get to have out there, well, these guys are just coming towards the end of their practice session here at the moment, so they get a little bit of time to acclimatize to the track conditions before we head into qualifying here in just a couple of moments' time. Right now, in practice at least, it is Luke Kita leading the way with a 1:38.8, but other drivers not too far behind him. Kripner, Vera, so obviously the esports professionals, shall we say, here on Race Room, and the very fast Race Room drivers, all towards the very top of the order. It's going to be a bit of a struggle for some of the pro drivers, some of the content creators to try to match and try to adapt to this particular sort of format of racing, I suppose, especially for those real-world drivers who don't have the same sensations as real life.
See Luke Keita up there, though, you know, someone who is, of course, we know, very, very good at sim racing on other platforms. And if he didn't work for Race Room, he probably would have been in the championship contention for DTM Esports this year, I think, because that lap time is about a 10th off of where, and maybe not even a 10th off of where he needs to be in terms of becoming a DTM Esports champion, so or at least pole position last week. Leonard Krippner, of course, who was a participant in the championship. We are missing a few drivers here, which is a little bit of a shame. We should have 23 drivers, but it looks like we're missing a couple of the DTM Esports drivers and maybe a couple of the pro drivers as well. But yeah. Cravey there, the Finn, currently in P5. Tim Heinemann, who before DTM Esports was a thing, was racing in championships that you could probably consider similar to DTM Esports, a two-time champion of the AMG Championship, which again is, you know, what would be likened to the DTM Esports Championship of yesteryear. So yeah, fantastic to see Tim racing here. Tim, someone I have been friends with for a very, very long time and worked alongside and commentated on his DTM Trophy Championships, of course. Watching him then go into DTM, which was always his dream when he was young, was to race in DTM. Now, of course, a race winner when it comes to the GT World Challenge, a class winner when it comes to the NLS series as well. So yeah, good to see him in this championship here today.
Yeah, absolutely. As we are officially inside of our qualifying session right now, as we see Leonard Krippner heading his way across the line there to start one of his first flying laps here. And, well, this is the sort of first opportunity that we'll get to see what the order is going to be like, how well the real-life drivers and the streamers are able to adapt and match up some of the best drivers on the Race Room service. It's going to be a very, very interesting thing, because yes, obviously the real life drivers are incredibly quick. Some of the streamers again are incredibly quick drivers, but this is going to be the difference between just an incredibly quick driver and a professional esports driver. We're kind of going to see that difference.
Yeah, we got Dixon asking me if I'm on the grid. No one told me I was allowed to race. I would have definitely done it if I was allowed to race, but you know, you need someone to commentate, so I'm here doing that. Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, no one mentioned that I was allowed to do that, Bo, unfortunately, but good luck to you. Leonard Krippner on a lap time into the stadium section here. We're coming at number 44 livery. Got to keep it here within the curbing lines there. You can run a little bit wider there as we now run up towards the right hand. Before the Sachs curve, I like to call it the Vettel curve for my own reasons. Again, you can run out onto the Astro here, really nice and wide. And now you've got the cambered left-hander. And there's two different lines here. The inside line is definitely the quicker one, but you can kind of make a move on the outside if you're very, very brave. But you will wash out if you indeed carry a bit too much speed. So we now come up towards the final two corners. A double right-hander. Again, using all the curb on the exit there. If you run over the sausage dough, you will lose a lot of momentum. It'll be tough to get it checked in for the final corner. And then we go across the line here for Krippner. And what lap time did he produce? Well, it's good enough for second right now. Turka Hakkinen's done a 38.8, which is a very competitive time. Although Tim Yarshall has just made an appearance. He's just done a 38.5, which actually was... hold on. What were they doing last week? Was it 37.8, actually? Coming to think of it. Wondering whether they've actually... Bo's just mentioned they've been given a load of BOP, the pro drivers. So the pro drivers might be down a little bit here. Yes.
Interesting. Okay, we didn't get that information either. So, because I was thinking we wouldn't have any BOP, so therefore, obviously, that would at this particular circuit, I mean, it would just throw a bit of a different situation in there to what we had in the main season if we didn't have any balanced performance. But if they've just bopped the pro drivers, then that's going to be very, very interesting. It doesn't seem to have held them back too much though, with Yarshall setting the 38.5 at the very top of the order, and sort of names we usually expect to see at the top of the order are at the top of the order. But yeah, we'll see how this one goes. We've seen a couple of times being set by some of the content creators as well. James West, Gamer Muscle, aka Gamer Muscle, down in 11th place at the moment, 2.2 off of the race lead. We've had John Monroe also set himself a banker lap time as well. Well, a lap time on the board being 10 seconds behind pole position at the moment. We have a couple of drivers that have not yet set any time. So Keita has not set a time just yet. Krista Jones, we've had Bo Dixon, Benjamin Matatis, and Tim Reiter have not yet set times. Everyone else has.
What livery is Tim Heinemann in then? Let's get him on screen and see what car he's driving. He's actually gone for the Audi, which is Well, that is a decision, but it may have made by him because he's got his own livery in the game from 2024. So yeah, very strange not to see him in the Porsche. But yeah, he's currently 9/10 of a second off, and yeah, the Audi was just a car that wasn't really chosen for the DTM eSports. So to see James West and Tim Heinemann both repping the Audi, it's quite nice to see some different cars on the grid.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we kind of got, got very used to seeing Porsches and the Lambo and the Ferraris in the actual DTM eSports season. We didn't really get to see that many Audis, so it's good to have them here. They do exist, we promise.
They certainly do indeed. Let me know how you're getting on in the chat as well. I'm keeping an eye on my chat. I guess, Connor, you keep an eye on YouTube or something, and then we can have all of the chats covered there. If you've got any questions about this, you can indeed ask. But this is an exhibition event at the end of the DTM Esports Championship. So the DTM Esports is done and dusted, but this is more of a pro drivers versus sim pro drivers versus content creators. So it's a bit of fun today. I expect it to be absolutely wild, by the way. John Monroe, definitely suffering with some traction for traction.gg because he's down by 10.3 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it's that was just a lap time to get in. He's going to head his way across the line in just a couple of moments' time. I think this is the start of another flying lap here for John Monroe as well. So he's got just shy of 5 minutes left in the session to be able to put in a bit more of a representative lap time. I don't think he would be he would be too happy about languishing down there in P14 at the moment. He does have to take the toe back to the starting point though, so he wasn't so happy with that lap. Again, if you get an off track, your lap is invalidated, so there's no point in continuing on. You might as well take the reset. But yeah, I mean, we still got drivers that have not set times though. Kita particularly, fastest in practice, struggling to get a time on the board here in the actual qualifying session.
One thing, I've got John Monroe for a meeting tomorrow afternoon, and he is going to know all about it if he's 10.3 seconds off the pace. For someone who literally creates content on Sims for a living. That is very worrying. Yeah, Luca Kita, who I wonder whether he's just invalidating laps, just getting some laps in and just going to do one of those last to first challenges. Bit of fun. There's no points on the line here. No championship on the line as well. So it really is a bit of fun. Not so much for Yarshul, Hasser and Krippner. They're all absolutely going to be flying at this. Is Georg Ortner goes up and puts in a time about a second off the pace. Still haven't seen a time from Bo Dixon either. Is Bo in the lobby? He's messaged in the Twitch chat, so I'm assuming. Oh, there he is. So he's just decided not to put a lap time in at this stage. So I wonder if we might see him potentially get one in this time around. And there's a genuine opportunity. Oh, well, no, that's definitely.
Oh, no.
That's the Lewis Hamilton when it's wet line through there. Oh, my God, Bo. Don't know whether he's just trying to open up the final corner to gain a bit of extra time or not, but yeah.
Yeah, that's possibly it, yeah.
Come on, Bo, pull your finger out. Jesus.
Immediately goes so wide through turn number one. Yeah, I'm surprised he's continuing on with that one. Track limits must not be as strict as we thought it. I was like, well, you thought they were around here. Turk Akkonen setting purple time through sector one, same with Florian Hasser as well, so still some time left out there on circuit. Actually, John Monroe also on a decent lap here at the moment, or at least was on a decent lap. Let's see if it is a decent lap. It is, top 10, P9.
Yeah. Fair play. Well, I won't be mentioning that in our meeting now. Rides a curb there through turn number one. That will already have hurt his lap time here, I would imagine. Yeah, Vera up into P4, Hakkinen P5. Those are two names that really have announced themselves over the last sort of I guess it would be 4 months, 4 or 5 months that they've been racing in DTM eSports now. And yeah, they were two names that really stuck out, especially Vera managed to get a podium during the season. Turk Hakkinen was a lot stronger at the start of the season, along with Philip Dreys, but it seemed like the Porsche was a little bit faster. Turk Hakkinen does move up into a top 3 position, but the top 5 drivers, all from the eSports series, all within 0.3 of a second. Michal Neg will expect to be a little bit quicker, as Tim Yarshul is flying and actually going a little bit faster.
Yep, indeed. And, well, it's like you said, it's a close run thing at the very top of the order, so that's going to give us some excitement once we get to the race starts here. Little Tim Yarshul going faster still through Sector 2 by 1.5 of a second, actually. So lopping off a decent chunk of time there is Tim. Let's see if he's able to follow that through. A little bit of smoke coming through the Sats curve is not ideal, but we'll continue on with this lap.
Yeah, he will continue on with this lap, and again, I don't think it really matters. Wow, this is going to be a world level time, isn't it? Depending on, well, not depending on anything, considering the BAP that they have, I think this might be a little bit faster. Momo Vera, by the way, did go quicker as well, actually moved up into second position. And then Yarshall just gained about 400ths of a second. I think that'd be him done. Tim Heinemann, about to go a bit faster here, currently within, what, 4? Would actually put himself within the sort of top tier drivers. We've got Hana as well, one of the pro drivers, mixing it with the top drivers as well in terms of the sim races, which is fantastic to see. But is Tim Heinemann about to put himself in and amongst it? Again, one of the OGs of Race Room. That's where it all started for him. Also spent a lot of time or is sponsored by Race Room as well in his real racing journey. So the parallels between his sim racing and real racing are still continuing. As Leonard Krypton's about to go across the line, as he found in the extra time, he did. Found about half a tenth, actually, moving forward, and is in about, well, just stays P4. Sorry, P5, should I say. Tim Heinemann, though, ahead of Crazy, the lead real-life driver. I think he'd be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I think so. Although Luka Kita, has he been able to string together a good lap here? It's been a bit of a struggle with qualifying compared to the practice session. Let's see what his time is heading his way across the line. Now that's better from Luka Kita, up into P6.
Yeah, that is a very good time again. Someone who's a very accomplished driver in the world of sim racing, not so much on Race Room, but just showcasing that he's just really fast. He is really fast. I hope, it is me commentating. I am commentating today. Turk Hakkinen is done and indeed dusted. Qualifying is over for everybody here, and Tim Yarshall will take pole position from Momo Vera.
Indeed. So as we get switched over into the actual race session here, lots of anticipation, a very sort of stacked top of the order, a lot of very close lap times there. And of course, sort of potential chaos in the mid pack as well, as the real life drivers and the streamers, the content creators, all do battle back there as well. So lots to look forward to here for this one. I mean, I think it's going to be the safer race of the two that we'll get to see here today, because of course, once we get into race 2, we will be going into those 1995 spec DTM cars, which are different beasts entirely and a bit of a handful compared to these.
Yeah, and a longer race as well. So tyre wear will be a huge factor in race number 2. Won't be so much in this race. What I will say is there are drivers. Well, to be fair, every single driver on this grid doesn't have anything to lose because there's no points on the line. It is quite literally an exhibition race today. So expect this to be absolutely wild and frantic. Momo Vera, you give him a chance. Oh, hold on. What's happened here to Tim Yarshall? Okay, there he is. So Tim Yarshall is in. Yeah, Momo Vera does not need a second invitation to make an overtake. We saw that at the Red Bull Ring this year. Regardless whether he's a rookie to the series or not, he wants to make a name for himself. And there's no better way of making a name for yourself than going out there and beating a previous DTM eSports champion. So expect this front row to be absolute fireworks.
Yeah, absolutely. There's really nothing to lose at this point. These are races done in isolation, There's not like a championship or prize at the end of this one. It's sort of your pride, right? So, sure, I think Vera would definitely be on the attack 100% from the get-go here because, again, nothing to lose, but all to prove for him.
Yeah, 100%. And his family are going to be watching. It's an absolute fact that his family are going to be watching as well, cheering him on. So, yeah, this is going to be a nice opportunity for him. And you got Florian Hasser, who, again, didn't paint himself in the greatest light when it came to the finale last time out. And, again, he's not someone who's going to go out there and intentionally take anybody out. But, he had a huge... his driving had a huge factor as to who become DTM eSports champion, right? With that lunge into the hairpin they've just gone through. And ultimately, Isaac Price is not the DTM eSports champion because of that. It looks like there's a couple of cars that were having issues at the back of our grid today. So yeah, Florian Hassel will want to go out there and it's a statement opportunity today to go, do you know what? Let's end the season on a high, go out there, get ourselves a race win, maybe 2, and move on. But yeah, Tim Yarshall, of course, DTM eSports champion of 2024, out there in front. He will not make it easy for anybody.
Yeah, no intention of it whatsoever. I mean, he might even try to manufacture himself a little bit of fun as well. If he sees himself starting to run away, he might just go, actually, I kind of do want to fight Vera here or something like that because, having a dominant win during a special event is pretty boring, if you ask me.
I don't think he'll care about that. If I'm completely honest, I do not think he will care one bit. He will be just out there racing as hard as he possibly can. It really is as simple as that for him. So yeah, I expect Tim Yarshall just, if he can, just drive away. But I don't think it's going to be that easy. I do believe we're going to see a big send into turn 1, which might define how this race goes down. Any predictions, Connery?
I think if we want to make a race of it, Vera leading coming down into the hairpin would be very interesting.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for our exhibition race, the DTM eSports special event. Race number 1 here in the 2024 cars. We're about to go green as Vera's on the right side looking in a better spot than what Tim Yarshall's in the left from running. I'll tell you what, it's really alongside the Vera. It's just not going to biggest time. Tim Yarshall's running. There was going to be shenanigans, and there it is. He's going to get going once again, but he will be regaining at the back of the grid. And do you know what? I want to see this. I want to see Tim Yarshall go as far as he can up this grid because he's clearly the fastest there. Vera leads the second, Tucker Hakkinen into third position. Keita, Neg, Tim moves up into 6th spot. Florian has just dropped down. Hania is in 8th, 9th then for Creevy, and then we've got John Munro in 10th spot.
Yeah, absolutely, and all sorts of moves being made down in towards the hairpin as well. Look at there's Hakkinen down the inside. There's Tim Heinemann out of nowhere trying to shoot down the middle. Has to take the wide line coming off the corner, and all of his hard work is undone. Leonard Kripper P3 at the moment. Tucker Hakkinen in P2. So big issues for Asa and a couple of the other pro drivers there. Tim Heinemann again having to look towards the inside of Mihai Nek. This time around, contact between the two of them. Florian Hassa trying to capitalize. Coming down the inside now as well, trying to make it wheel to wheel, all sorts of contact coming through there. Now in towards the, well, as we come through the middle sector, Heinemann still on the inside here for this fast right-hander as we enter the arena section. Oh my god, Tim Heinemann down the inside at the Saxco, still trying to fight this one off, trying to use that camper to his advantage as he comes into the S's at the end of this section, and he is able to sort of breathe just for a moment there as Florian Hasser and Mihai Neg just have to recalibrate their situation here. We've got Linus Hana as well, someone we haven't talked about so far just yet, right on the back of this particular train and actually looking, or at least showing a nose down in towards turn number 1, but that's not really an overtaking opportunity.
No, absolutely not. There was really nicely done by all of those drivers to manage to get through that section, actually. 3 wide at points. Tim Heinemann, who's one of the more aggressive drivers in the world of motorsport, especially when he used to compete in sim racing, I can tell you that right now. Who's that off the circuit there? There's a car. Oh, that's Chardon. So what's happened there? He wasn't right at the front anyway. That a car? I think that might be John West, actually. He's a lap down, so he must be having some sort of technical issues. But Momo Vera leads away half a second. Tucker Hakkinen, we've got Leonard Kripner, Tim Heinemann in 4th position. Hassa, Neg, we've got Hania. Oh, that's a big send. Oh, my God. Oh, wow, he sent that from Romania. And ultimately, it did not work out at all. Jesus Christ.
Oh dear. Yeah, I mean that's the big risk with going for such an audacious move down in towards the hairpin, is that you are very much compromised off the corner as Linus Hana goes down the inside of Mihai Neg through the left-hander there, and well, it continues this fight all the way through this section now. As well, this mid-pack is where it's at in terms of the fighting here at the moment. Fantastic stuff in and amongst all of the drivers, and looks like Mihai Neg's able to hold on here just for a couple of moments more. A little bit of a side-by-side going on behind though. Bo Dixon, Ville Creevy going wheel to wheel through the Sachs curve now.
Yeah, Creevy there trying to find a little bit of a gap up the inside, use that camber to his advantage, and well, Bo Dixon very aggressively gets across the bonnet of the Porsche, says thank you very much, I'll have that position back, and you got to live to fight another day. Off to chase down Hania in P7. Neg now down to 6th. Hasser's got to try and make his way back up towards Tim Heinemann. Heinemann dropping a bit of time to Kripner, Hakkinen and Vera. But Momo Vera, the DTM eSports rookie, is not looking like a rookie today. He is looking very sharp indeed. Where is Tim Yarshall, though? That's the big question. Or there's James West. He's parking it right on the apex of turn 2, because that's the perfect place to let everyone go by on the apex of turn 2. Where is Tim Yarshall? He's already up to P11. So Yarshall's gone from 20th up to P11. No problems.
Yeah, last to first, well, pretty much last to first challenge for Tim Yarshall. It's going to be an intriguing 14 minutes for him as he tries to pick up all of these positions. Again, slow lapped traffic on the inside there, getting well out of the way. It's a bit of a better place to do it than what West was able to pull off going down in towards turn number 1 as the cars stream their way by. Obviously, it's still Manuel Vera leading here at this moment in time. Kind of happy about the fact that some of the other pro drivers had big issues on that opening lap, so he's really trying to lean on this particular advantage though. But Hakkinen, not a slow driver whatsoever. He's going to give chase here, and of course you got Krippner, who's always very competitive there, down in third as well. So it's not a signed, sealed or delivered thing for Vera at the moment, but he has been gifted an opportunity.
I tell you what, Hakkinen nearly lost a rear there. He was doing the cha-cha slide through into the stadium section. That was quite phenomenal for him to actually hang on to that. That's not a way of catching up to P1. I'll tell you one thing, it looks spectacular. It isn't fast. Krippner now only, half a second behind Turkka Hakkinen. Hakkinen's tyres are going to be hurting him as well. Tim Heinemann falling a little bit further back. Florian Hasse all over his fart box as well in P5. You've got Neg in 6th position, who did his best impression of a deep-sea diver down into the hairpin a couple of laps ago, but seems to have figured that out. But I tell you what, Florian Hasse is all over the back here of Tim Heinemann. Might see a potential move as we run around Parabolica for what would be the 5th time into the old cockpit cam. Slipstream of the Audi will take the outside line, going into the inside line of the hairpin. Will Tim defend it? No, he just decides against it there. You've got the number 3 car there, that's the Kelvin van der Linde Audi. So we send it up the inside, pinches him onto the apex. The number 69 car there with that lovely Red Bull livery. Just about gets it done as they come up towards the kink, and I think by the time they come through here, the Ferrari will just about be ahead. Although Tim is trying to keep his nose in there, he will be last of the late breakers, I can assure you of that. Might be a little bit too late. They go through side by side. They actually can high-five each other. Oh, this is fantastic stuff. And as they come then through what would be, turn 11, it's going to work out in the favour of Tim Heinemann. He's going to hold on to that position. And Florian Hasse is going to be thinking, this should be easy. Tim Heinemann doesn't sim race anymore, but it's not. Florian Hasse struggling.
Yep, indeed he is, and we'll have to see if that continues on with the 12 minutes that we have left remaining of this race, because if that is an issue that Hasse is having to deal with, maybe he's off his game, maybe he has a little bit of damage, who knows, at this point, as they head their way out of the final corner. Still keeping himself in close contention, though, still remaining within that slipstream, which is pretty important around a place like this to make sure you keep tabs on the opponent ahead. But yeah, Hasse, it's interesting to see Hasse in this situation, actually.
Yeah, it's last time out he would have sent it into the hairpin from a little bit further back. I think he's learned his lesson, licked his wounds, took his medicine, whatever you want to call it, and isn't really trying to make that many inroads. Of course, this is more of an exhibition of, so it's just be a bit more calm, just take stock of things and realise it's not that important. The gap now too big, though, for sure. Tim Yarshall, by the way, up to P8, and we'll be closing in on these two very quickly indeed, with still 11 minutes on the clock.
Indeed. Well, nose to tail coming through the hairpin there. We'll get ourselves maybe an opportunity to see another fight between these two. I wouldn't be surprised if Hasse really goes for a big old move here at some point here. Maybe not at this point in the race, but certainly if the opportunity arises, definitely that Ferrari's nose will be very much stuck in there. Manuel Vera still leads. Oh, as we see Florian Hasse go very wide indeed.
Yeah, trying to manufacture an opportunity there that didn't quite work out. Down to the Sachs curve again. Lots of smoke being kicked up, lots of locking up happening through there. Tim there didn't quite hit the apex. That will give Florian Hasse a chance to catch back up, and Michal Neg, who's now of course ahead of Hanya, will be looking to try and catch up to Florian Hasse as quickly as he possibly can to try and get involved for this battle for P4, but he has an issue. He has a German behind him called Tim Yarshall, who will catch him before he catches them.
Yeah, just having a look at the lap times, there was a 39.2 on the part of both Hasse and Neg. It was a 38.7 for Yarshall. So they are losing boatloads of time to Yarshall here at the moment, on the order of about half a second a lap. So that's time of the essence for these guys at the moment. Otherwise, that driver in 7th place right now, it will be breathing down their neck very soon.
Yeah, I will say one thing here. Momo Vera has performed exceptionally. He's got the move done into turn number 1. Obviously, Tim facing the wrong way as Hassa try. Oh, I tell you what, he's completely faked out Heinemann there. Heinemann runs deep, and now this is going to be a jaunt towards the kink. This is going to be a jaunt towards that hairpin, the left-hander, which Tim Heinemann will have the inside line for, and actually will get across the bonnet there and defend it, I think, this time around as well. Does Hassa go for it this time? He decides against it. Yeah, Heinemann defending sort of thin air there, really. Not sure Hassa was ever really going to make a move there, but ultimately, again, losing more time to the group in front and being caught now by the Romanian and indeed by Tim Yarshall. I think Hanya might also get involved once they all Constantina up.
Yeah, I think it might do. So Heinemann being a little bit like the cork in the bottle here, well, slight amount. I mean, fighting on his own merits. The defensive driving has been decent so far on the part of Tim Heinemann. That little defending air issue point notwithstanding, but was I think it was a bit of that traffic that went very, very wide there in the background through the final couple of corners. Seems like all of our front runners are still absolutely okay and still keeping their times up, but yeah, Hassa needs to get this done sooner rather than later, unless he wants to feel the threat from Hassa behind, and Neg is doing some decent times too with Yarshall. Excuse me, but yeah, it's a concerning point in the race potentially for both of these guys.
Yeah, well, Vitor asking, has Hakkinen come back from his sabbatical yet? His 20 odd year sabbatical is now over. He is back. No, it's a guy called Turk Hakkinen, who's a DTM eSports rookie this year. Got Florian Hassa trying to do the over and under, and well, he's not quite got. He got the over bit perfectly. The under bit not so much. Tim Heinemann does indeed hang on, making that car the widest an Audi has ever been. Although we see a move into the stadium section, and Hassa's going to pin the apex. I'll tell you what, that caught not only Heinemann out, that caught me out. That was brilliant. So Hassa there has got it in him to dive down the inside and hit the breaking point and hit the apex. Congratulations, Florian Hassa.
Yeah, that was a bold move down the inside at turn 8 there, and well, able to make it work. Caught us off guard, drew himself alongside, late on the brakes, and well, was able to execute the move too. Usually when we see moves being made into there, usually it's a sort of protracted side-by-side battle coming through 9 and 10 and then potentially down into 11 as well. But no, got it over and done with as quick as it started.
Tim Yarshall now is sniffing. He is sniffing his prey. He's got Neg up ahead of him, trying to make his way up towards a top 6 position. And then he can try and chase down Tim Heinemann, Florian Hassa, Leonard Krippner. Actually, I don't think Leonard Krippner is on the cards. I think the top 3 are pretty much settled with only 6 minutes to go. We do have another race after this, ladies and gentlemen. We are heading to the historic version of the Hockenheimring, which is now, of course, under I don't know, stinger nettles, grass, shrubbery, as they would call it. But yeah, because we are in a video game, it means we can go back to the SDA. I'm going to be using the 1995 DTM cars as well, which are fantastic. As we see a very, very late lunge there from Tim Yarshall. That ain't going to work. Nope, that is not going to work indeed. There was somebody home. There was a little bit of contact between the two of them as Heinemann has got back ahead of Florian Hassa. That's going to bring Neg and indeed Yarshall back in to play here as well. And well, you'd think this is an exhibition. It's all it's brilliantly defended. No, it isn't. Tim Yarshall's killed him. Oh, Yarshall's absolutely nailed Neg there. Neg went defensive. Yarshall wasn't given an inch, and wow. Okay, now it really is exhibition time. They're just flying around, and I'm not sure they're worried about car parts being all over the place. Yeah,
there's optimistic moves, shall we say, being made. Yes. The sends down in towards turn number 8. I mean, Hassa's was a little bit cleaner than what Yarshall's one was in those 2 pairings down into there, but yeah, I mean, we're kind of lucky that this isn't a regular season race, so this is an exhibition just to have fun, isn't it? Otherwise, the stewards room probably would be pretty busy at this point.
I couldn't care less if it's the real one or not, because we're not stewards, we just get to commentate, so the wackier it's, the better it is for us as commentators, so fantastic. I am never going to be a steward ever in my life, as we see. Oh, hold on. Well, Hassa is now gapping Heinemann. So, yeah, this is, yeah, that's happened then. So, Florian Hassa's back up to P4. Heinemann having some issues. And yeah, just a little bit of a strange one there. We didn't see exactly what happened. Front three are away, 2.3 seconds separating the top three, and there's like a 6.5 second gap to P4. So they've done a fantastic job. But the battling that we've seen from Hasse, Heinemann, Yarshall, Neg, Hanya, now Dixon's involved there as well. You can see that BMV at the back. This is not over yet. 4 minutes left on the clock, and I'm still sure we're going to see some absolute sends.
Oh yeah, I think that's an absolute certainty. I'll be completely honest there. I mean, Vera's probably the only one, or one of the only ones that's safe from an absolute send at the moment in the race lead by, since he's got what 1.7, 1.8 seconds over Hakkinen here at the moment. But everyone else, yeah, you got to be looking in your rear view and your wing mirrors here at this point, because I mean, all the evidence up to this point has suggested that the drivers are not afraid to go for lunges, and even Hana and Dixon having a little bit of battle on the run up towards the Sachs curve as well.
Yeah, but Dixon there just going to open up the Sachs curve, and Hanya takes a bit of a wider entry through there. Seems like they both negotiated it pretty well as we head down towards a final couple of corners. We're going to have 2 laps remaining when they next cross the line, and Dixon would love to get one more spot here. Again, in terms of like the real race drivers or the in real life drivers, you've got Tim Heinemann, P5, he's the leader of them. Then you've got Hanya. We've then got, you have to go down to P14 to see Steifelhagen, Reiter, Brautigam as well, down in 16th position. So right now, Hanya and Tim Heinemann are doing a very, very good job. Then you've got DTM eSports drivers. You've got Vera, of course, rookie this year, Turk Hakkinen the same. Krippner, you've got Hasse, Tim Yarshall 6th position, Michal Neg in 7th. And they've got Bo Dixon, Craevy. Georg Ortner is kind of the first of the content creators, if you like, someone who used to race from eSports. But this, at the moment, you see him posting all on the Race Room Discord about new content and stuff like that, working for KW Studios. As we come then through the hairpin, you can see Tim Yarshall's trying the over and under on Tim Heinemann. Battle of the Tims. Who will be the King Tim? As we head then through the kink. I think Tim Yarshall is sending this every day of the week and twice on Sundays here, isn't he? Yeah, there we go. Tim defends it. Tim attacks it. All the Tims are having tensional times. And it will be Tim Heinemann that comes off worse, and Tim Yarshall will go through to a top 5. Whether that's a legal overtake, that's something that would need to be discussed in the steward's room. Do I believe they're stewarding in this race? I do not believe that's happening.
Yeah, this is all just a bit of fun, but the Tim on Tim action is definitely going to be one of our takeaways from this race.
And be verified in the UK, but today we don't. I guess I'll keep talking. No worries. Speechless there from Connery. If you know, you know. Through top 10 we go. Craevy. Sorry, into top 10 we've got Craevy here, who's kind of looking at that group ahead of him thinking, oh, I need about 5 more laps of you guys just sending on each other. I can get involved. It's not going to work out, as we see a fake move there from Tim Yarshall. He is right behind Florian Hasse. And I'm telling you now, this is either going to be the cleanest overtake of all time, or it's just going to be an overtake. Something is happening down towards the hairpin, and it is going to be for P4, and I think Florian Hasse might be about to be Florian Hassed as we head then down in towards that hairpin. Tim Yarshall is just trying to force him to hit that inside line, and he's now going to try the over and under. Florian Hasse is just going to push him out nice and wide, and Tim Yarshall might be a little bit too close. Actually, it might be perfect, although he cannot get that power down, and Hasse will live to fight one more day on this final lap.
Indeed. I mean, there's an opportunity going to be opening up down into the next corner here. This is turn 8 around the outside attempt. Tim Yarshall on Florian Hasse. Hasse is able to best him off the corner. No overlap for Yarshall to work with down into the next right either. So this is looking better and better for Hasse.
Yeah, I made a noise that I think it's illegal in most countries there. I don't know where that came from, so I can only apologise to the audience watching at home. I think we might have another lap, actually, to be honest. Where's Momo Vera? I think Momo Vera's about to cross the line, so we have one more lap in this race. Yeah, we have. Okay, so I thought it was the final lap. It absolutely isn't. So Tim Yarshall will have one more opportunity on Florian Hasse to try and get the job done. There actually might even be a move for P2 here, so might be worth keeping an eye on Leonard Krippner and Turk Hakkinen as Momo Vera. This is a statement. Again, a rookie in the DTM eSports Championship this year, has done phenomenally well, with some really key performances, especially at the Red Bull Ring. But in this exhibition, it's gone out there and just shown everyone what he's capable of. A very young driver as well in the world of sim racing. So just remember the name, Momo Vera. It's going to be there or thereabouts for the next few years, that's for certain.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really exciting to see these drivers come through and do so well in these sorts of events. It's I mean, yes, it's as we see a move being made behind. This is Krypto and Hakkinen all of a sudden on the final lap of the race.
Just don't keep on it. I don't want to tell you what to do. You're the director. Is the moment that's going to happen to them? Tell you what, it's going to be reciprocated here for sure. Krypto is going to hold on. Oh, yeah. Hakkinen did think about it. He's going to come on the outside line. He's going to keep that overlap. Not quite going to keep that left front next to the right rear of the Falcon Sim Racing Porsche. Not able to hold on to that P2. And I think by the time we get through this final section of circuit, Leonard Krypto is going to come home and take a P2. What about behind here? Florian Hasse did not lose out to Tim Yarshall as well. Let's go on board then with Momo Vera. Deserves all of the flowers today. I think they're tulips and roses as he comes around the final couple of corners. Momo Vera, rookie in the DTM eSports season, started second on the grid, got up to first into turn number 1, and has not looked back indeed. His family will be super proud. He should be super proud. That is a race victory for Alien Motorsport. Leonard Krypto does take P2 there, but Hakkinen in 3rd spot. Florian Hasse will just about hang on to P4. Tim Yarshall then in 5th with, well, a drive from 1st to 20th back to 5th. Tim Heinemann finishes in 6th. Miha Neg then in 7th position. Linus Hana will finish in 8th position. Bo Dixon and Real Craigie will round out your top 10. Then we've got Ortner, Luca Kita, John Munro, Lucas Steifelhagen, Tim Reiter. Here's your 15 drivers. Broughtegam. And then everyone else is about to finish. I can only apologise for my mic, guys. It is, there's not much we can do. I know me and Connery, our mics are not sounding great. We're trying to figure it out, guys. One more race to go.
Yeah, indeed. Unfortunate technical issues. It's amazing. It's amazing how this happens in the special event, and it was absolutely perfect throughout the entire normal season. And nothing's actually changed with my setup, so go figure. But yeah, interesting, very, very interesting first race, and Manuel Vera taking the race win. But this is the the 2024 DTM cars. We go into the second race with the 1995 cars, which are completely different to drive and a different challenge entirely.
Yeah, 100% a different challenge. Again, tyre wear is going to be a huge factor. 5 minutes added to this race as well. And the circuit is just, well, completely different, if we're honest. It's a lot longer. We've got a lot longer straights as well. Slipstream is going to be a huge factor. I think people will be a little bit more careful on... Who am I kidding? It's going to be an absolute mess, isn't it? They are going to just destroy each other from the very, very start. Connery, let's go and show everybody what we're here for. Let's show everyone the DTM eSports highlights from last week, where we crowned ourselves a 2025 champion and Lucas Muller. We're about to go green then for the sprint race in the finale of the DTM eSports 2025 with the helicopter cam waiting for the lights to go green, and we're off and we're running. And Florian Hasse has got an absolute flyer. Tim Yarshall is being shuffled back. Lucas Muller is going to make his way up. Klaffenberg is probably going to end up in P4 as well, and Yarshall just has not got off the line. Klaffenberg's going to go all the way around. It's Ottaviani actually. Ottaviani potentially going to get up to 3rd spot, which is fantastic news for Isaac Price
as it stands at the moment. So what's going to happen between the two Falcon cars there? That's the situation as Muller sends it down the inside from quite far back on Ottaviani. Ottaviani's able to get the cut back off the corner though and keep a hold of that 3rd place. Yeah, and then, well, there might be an opportunity for Yarshall to try and get past Ottaviani here as well. Maybe not in towards the... Oh, well, definitely into here then. Send down the inside into the cambered left.
Yeah, that's
incredible.
That's a really good move there. You could bet your bottom dollar, though, that Florian Hasse, if he's got a chance here, he's going to send it. That's for certain. Closing up into that slipstream, into the braking zone. They're coming. Florian Hasse not quite close enough to get involved here. As he touched him, he spun him around. He spun the championship leader around. And then Isaac's just rejoined in front of the RAG cars. Lucas Muller across the line. I don't think there'll be too much in terms of emotion there. Florian Hasse will have his tail between his legs. And Tim Yarshall, I think it's safe to say he's probably out of the hunt. The difference is 6 points. Isaac quite literally has to make an overtake to win the title. Lucas Muller needs to stay ahead to win the title. We've had 11 races in our 2025 season. We are in the 12th and final race. All we're waiting for now are those green lights to get us started for the DTM eSports Finale 2025. We're off and we're running down towards turn number 1. The kick, Isaac Price with a wonderful start once again will sweep through and potentially take the lead. Lucas Muller trying to hang on, and the two Falcon teammates get together. They're in it together, and it looks like Tim Yarshall is going to get ahead. Lucas Muller's dropped now from first down to third as Tim Yarshall sends it up the inside of Isaac Price. Is there contact? There is contact between the two of them. I tell you what, this is going to be even tighter. I think Florian Hassan might have got both of them. I think he might have got both of them here. How close is this going to be? He has. So Tim Yarshall is going to come out behind him, and it does come down to this. Isaac Price has to make the move to win. To round in the final couple of corners here, ladies and gentlemen. Florian Hassan is going to take the victory here. It will push him into second position in the championship. Tim Yarshall will finish in second spot, and he will indeed finish fourth in the championship. Isaac Price will finish third in the race and third in the championship. But by my calculations, Lucas Muller, by crossing the line in fourth position, will be your DTM eSports champion 2025. His first major championship, the third German to indeed have that title. So there you go. Before we head into race number 2, guys, we're just very quickly going to restart everything and hopefully that sorts out the mic issues. If not, you just have to put up with it for one more race, I'm afraid. So we're back very, very shortly for race number 2. It seemed like Discord's having issues. It's actually not our side at all. So we just tried a different method, and it was it basically couldn't even hear each other. So Discord's having issues in terms of the audio. We can only apologise. Hopefully it's better. But one thing I can guarantee is that the sound of these cars is going to be absolutely delicious as we head to the old Hockenheim ring. And oh boy, it's been. Do you know what? I don't think I've ever commentated on a race here. This will be fantastic.
Yeah, it'd be the first time for me as well to do a race here as well. I mean, of course, I've raced on this track before. I mean, back in some of the classic games and things like that. But but yeah, it's an intriguing prospect, and of course, in these vintage. I was going to say, am I offending people by saying they're vintage cars, even though they're 1995? 2 years before I was born, so it's vintage to me.
Saying 2 years before I was born as well. So now you're going to see them head into what will be turn 12 on the circuit we've just been on. There you go. The new version of that corner that has a lot of AstroTurf you can run into. But there is the Sachs curve, as it's known as. We've got the dying livery curve. Oh, mate, the liveries back in the day were so nice. I don't know whether it's with a recency bias or I guess it wouldn't be biased, but the recent liveries just aren't it. But yeah, it's so much more fun. We're looking at the cars from yesteryear. So basically, the differences between this circuit and what we have had, or what we were at, is turn 2. Instead of going right, they just go straight on, and then they run into 2 chicanes, and then they come back and they head into turn 12 of the old circuit. It's just a lot longer, a lot of slipstreaming as well. It's just a fantastic race circuit. It was amazing in Formula One. I think it would. I don't know. I think it would hold up today as well. To be honest, I don't see there being any issues as to why it wouldn't hold up today. But trouble is, it just isn't a thing anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately not. But we'll see how well it plays host to the racing, the racing what we get in this second race. I'm going to be very interested to see how the order is shaken up, because of course, like the DTM Pro drivers, they've been in those in the modern DTM cars for very, very long time, and obviously given their GT3s these days, I mean you get to race the same sort of thing across multiple different series, but these again completely different beasts. So we'll hopefully see maybe a little bit of a shuffle in the order. I'm not seeing that right now in terms of the qualifying times. Actually, John Monroe out of nowhere, P4, only 4 tenths of a second behind Florian Hasse. That's a statement, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very, very good time, actually. Yeah, again, 2 minutes 9.7 is the best time we've seen. But John Monroe, again, who's working for Traction.gg, does a lot of content for them, is very quick in his own right. It's a fair play.
Yeah, absolutely fair play. I mean, it's quite something to only be a tenth of a second off of Tim Yarshall. Although Tim Yarshall is going faster at the moment. He's just set himself a purple sector 2, and continuing on here throughout the rest of the lap. And obviously, it's a little bit different here compared to what we saw at last race, and of course throughout the DTM main season, DTM eSports main season, excuse me, is that this is open qualifying. There are other cars on track that can affect you and also give you slipstream or not.
Yeah, for sure. Connery, I've just sent you a DM. I can barely hear you, mate. I don't even know what you just said. I don't know what's going on with this Discord server, but we need to head to... I've sent you another one, so just go there. Let's try that quickly. Head to the general.
We will. So we'll just leave you with the sights and sounds of Hockenheim just for a moment.
Okay, well this is, I'm not sure if there's any better chat, you have to let us know. Discord is having some big issues, some really, really big issues. Tim Yarshall currently just shy of 2 tenths of a second off of what would be pole position, but I just think this is going to be a real fun race to watch.
Yeah, I think this is going to be pretty awesome. I mean, keep us posted in the chat if it's any better, because right now all I can hear out of my my broadcast software is sounding fine. So it's a little bit of a weird one. But yeah, I mean, we've got 1 minute and 30 seconds left out of the session so far. A couple of drivers parked on pit lane, feeling like they cannot improve on their lap time over the next minute and a half. So I mean, there is a 2-minute lap time. I mean, they don't have time to get back out there, yes, but lots of drivers sort of finishing very, very early, and you can see the massive straight here where, well, I mean, it's just Slipstream City, and potentially you'll be able to get yourself moves being made, but we'll see if that actually happens.
Anyone who just started a lap will not get it in. It's quite simple, isn't it? Like anyone finishing a lap now are good, but if you've just started a lap now, you are done and dusted. In terms of liveries, Connery, this has got to be the best one, right? This Dime livery is fantastic.
Yeah, it is. It's fantastic. I mean, this is what I like. I mean, obviously, you know, retro livery, etc. But I think we should go back to like sort of this style of livery, because like almost every like modern livery is like some form of black or silver or you know quite boring schemes. Why not have just like unapologetically?
I think it's more to do with how expensive motorsport is now, Connery, with them needing so many more sponsors to be able to do that. They have more names on the car, so you can't, like back in the day you'd have one big title sponsor and it was kind of based on that, but now it's a bit more difficult to do that because there are so many title sponsors, so you kind of got to mix and match, make sure you get their color schemes in, and yeah, it's just a little bit more difficult to do the, you know, a nice cool livery like back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, and actually, I think esports teams do this better than the real life teams. There's a lot of really, really cool esports teams liveries that I think would actually look pretty cool if they were applied to a real life car as well. But obviously, they don't have the same commitments to sponsors or as many. Sponsors.
Tim, there having Tim having a couple of issues there. As we do indeed end qualifying, so we're into our final race of the season. We've got ourselves a little exhibition in the 1995 cars around the old Hockenheim ring. And again, I missed this place. I think this is a fantastic race circuit. As you can see there is the first chicane, which is, you know, after about a 7-mile straight. It's going to be, yeah, if you can stay close to someone here, there's lots of overtaking opportunities around this circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. There's you know, ample opportunity to draw yourself alongside into these chicanes. It's going to be fun. It does mean that we might see maybe a couple more absolute sends. I mean, we saw a lot of them in race number 1, don't get me wrong, but it is the potential to be the case here as well. But you don't have the luxury of ABS to rely on in these cars to make sure you get yourself slowed down for the apex, so it's a bit more treacherous going for moves like that.
Right, of course, it's a bit of a nightmare for each driver, but it can work in the favour of drivers behind because mistakes happen to cars in front. Here we go then. We're about to see our race here. Do we have a full lap formation as well?
Looks like a rolling start.
It does look like we're going to have a full lap formation. Momo Vera, by the way, did get up to pole position at the death. Although we've got the safety car that's now behind other cars. I'm not too sure exactly what's going on here. It almost looks like they are, well, they were racing, but they're not. There we go, there's a safety car. This is going to be the longest formation lap ever. Momo Vera, I think, is going to go back to the position that he should be in. The only Alfa, there's 2 Alfa Romeos on the grid. And I can tell you from experience, as someone who's commentated on DTM Classic, this is the loudest car I have ever heard in my life. Actually had a Formula 1 engine in it. It's such a loud car. And I've commentated on BMW Pro cars, which are, you know, right up there, old Formula 1 cars, but that Alfa Romeo is the loudest car I've ever heard.
Yeah, there's something about these engines which just like, you know, when you're out at a track, you definitely know when they're out on circuit. Let's just say that. I mean, sometimes it's kind of sad these days. I mean, some of the support races, even particularly for Formula 1, sound better than the actual main series does, which is a bit disappointing when you think about it.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Again, I kind of miss the older sounds of cars. It's very easy to get hung up on that, though. You know, the world's changed. Motorsport has changed. So, yeah, it's something we can always remember, especially if you were in those eras. But luckily for us, we've got ourselves a 30-minute race here where we are going to see exactly that.
Yeah, indeed, and you got to see like a lot of these cars, especially through slow speed section, are actually having to push quite hard to keep up with the with the safety car because it just doesn't have the same grip coming through the corners that the safety car has. So it looks like they're actually kind of maybe not driving at 100%, but definitely driving a little bit harder than they would be under normal safety car conditions in the normal cars.
Exactly that. We head then in towards what would be the new part of the circuit, I guess. There's some cars that have not quite caught up to the back. It's not a new part, it was still here back in the day, but this is where it rejoins to where the track currently exists as well. So there we go. Through the right-hander in towards the final few corners, and then we will be off. So Momo Vera, Leonard Krippen at front there, Tim Yarshall just in behind. Looks like everybody is now starting to indeed catch up. But we do indeed have an Alfa Romeo on the front. This is going to be interesting about the drag race. Once they get through turn one, that long run will be super cool to see which car is the fastest. Mercedes, of course, has been the bigger of the choices. I think we've got everyone in the Mercedes apart from Orton, who's gone for the Opel. And we've got two Alfa Romeos, and then Wright has also gone for the Opel as well. So it is a bit of a Mercedes fest as the safety car is going to pull in. They're going to wait for those green lights. And our final race of the DTM eSports 2025 season in this exhibition race, special event, is about to go underway. There are the green lights. You can see the cars completely fan out, left and indeed right. And there we go. We are off and we're running, and it's a fantastic start from the Alfa. Looks like the acceleration of that car seems to be the key factor. As we come through turn number one, it is indeed Leonard Krippen who will take the lead, but runs into the gravel trap and will run off entirely and lose maybe by the time they get down in towards that chicane, 10 positions. The Mercedes, I think the second phase is very quick indeed. I think the Alfa is just going to get completely swamped. Bit of bump drafting there happening as well. And I'll tell you what, I think Luca Kita has decided to help Momo Vera out and has tried to push him to try and keep up with the front two.
Yep, indeed, and there we go, Florian Haas race lead, then we got Yarshall and Vera fighting side by side briefly, coming through the chicane there, a little bit of a stack up in behind with some of the 2x2 action going on back there as well as we continue to wind ourselves through this very, very long right-hander into the next braking zone. Yarshall coming under pressure once again from Manuel. Vera gets a little bit upset in terms of the handling down into there. Luca Kita improving position in the bright yellow Promart car up into P3. He's looking for P2 now as well.
It seems like the Alfa's pretty good in terms of the acceleration out of the corner. Top end speed, the Mercedes seems a bit faster, and under braking seems a little bit better as well, as we see a bit of a send there from the Alfa driver. Momo Vera not able to make anything work there. Florian Hasse, by the way, is off into the distance here, so a very good start then from Florian Hasse. What about Leonard Krippen? Down as P10, so had that issue earlier on, and yeah, it's an issue there for him. Just again to apologise to everyone watching, Discord's having big issues with audios, guys. So if you cannot hear us properly, I can only apologise on that front. But we are all good. We are all good in the hood. As we look on board then with Luca Kita trying to keep up with two very fast drivers in terms of Yarshall and Haas. I think we're going to try one more thing. So maybe we're going to enable the audio through vMix. We'll try that very, very quickly. And if that works, then we're good. So I'm just going to mute. I'm just going to mute up in the Discord. We're going to try it through vMix. And yeah, we'll let you know if it works.
Yeah, we'll do it. doesn't look like we've quite got Luke's audio at the moment. I have enabled his call, but we'll continue on with the race though. We've got 25 minutes left to go here in this one. It is Florian Hasse that leads from Tim Yarshall at this moment in time, although that top three are pretty much all stacked together at this point, which is fantastic to see these guys keep themselves in close contention. It's an all-German podium here at the moment, but Manuel Vera in 4th place, looking to try to make some forward progress after that race start. It'll give us an opportunity to have a little bit of a look back at what's going on, at least further back in the pack. There's John Monroe having a little bit of a fight there with Leonard Tripp there, and also Philip Cravey ahead as well, getting a little bit upset over those exit curves, but keeping that Mercedes pointed in the right direction as this group of 4 works its way around. You've got Ortner behind this, the 4th car in this train as well, looking to try and get himself stuck in at some point as they hit their way out of the final corner. Big slides going on for John Monroe. That allows Ortner to get up underneath, get Kribner up underneath, and is able to make a big challenge of it. Now he's coming under pressure from Ortner in behind. It just goes to show how one of those little mistakes can just really pile on and cause further consequences. Another attempt from Leonard Kripner here as he tries to get past Vivek Cravey this time around. Cravey trying to defend on the inside, actually gets a shot to the back bumper from John Monroe from his issues as well as he tries to fight back up against Kripner here, but again, he's going to sit inside the slipstream, make an attempt of this one down into the next heavy braking zone perhaps. Kripner, where does he go to try and defend this one? Inside, outside, that's the decision that has to be made, especially given he has 2 cars pretty much in behind, as he's now going to help out Monroe, potentially controlling the slipstream coming down that pit straight there. Monroe unable to do anything about it though in terms of trying to get past Philip Cravey at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. John Monroe getting stuck in there. You got Ortner also in behind in that Opel. The front 3 separated by 0.4 of a second now, by the way, which is quite phenomenal. But Luca Kita is up into the lead again, an employee of Race Room, mixing it with the very best in the world on Race Room.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we've got to look at our race leaders now because
we'll see it again. Look at the door banging here. Luca Kita versus Tim Yarshall. This is going to bring Florian Hasse back in. Oh, there's a big tank slapper there from Kita. Keeper trying to keep his nose in, or keating his nose in. He is going to absolutely get back involved here. And now Florian Hasse is going to take that position as well, which is going to bring Momo Vera back in. So Momo Vera, all of a sudden, looking like he was going to be nowhere near a chance of winning this race, but then hassling like that, he's now back in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you definitely can't count him out of any of these situations here. He's certainly keeping himself, in with a shout at a podium or even potentially the race win, as well as Hasse gets all sorts of unsailed up over the curbs here. There's a loss of speed that Yarshall could potentially capitalize on, but no, he's just going to sit in behind. He's just going to give the shove coming down the straight instead of capitalizing on a messy exit from Florian Hasse. You can see front end push right up against the rear bumper there. Now he's going to step to the inside, but decides against it.
Certainly does. Again, bring in Momo Vera. Turkka Hakkinen now all of a sudden looking to get involved as well. Will be slowed up ever so slightly by the advancing Turkka Hakkinen. Oh, sorry, with Momo Vera being in front of him. Actually, you can see that the acceleration out of the chicane, that Alpha, is an absolute weapon, but as soon as it gets up to its sort of top end, it's not as quick as the Mercedes, it's not as good under braking. They really do need these front 3 to fight once again, which I'm going to be honest, tonight will happen.
Yep, absolutely. It's a guarantee. I mean, we still have a pretty decent amount of time left in this race as well. 21 minutes. Still lots of opportunities on the horizon for things to be shuffled around. We have seen the sort of a breakaway with this leading group here at the moment. With this the trio and then the little pair behind Vera and Hakkinen keeping themselves stuck together. It's been a bit more disruptive in the mid-pack, you could say, especially in amongst this John Monroe Cravey group where they've been fighting pretty much every single corner.
Yeah, you can see John Monroe is doing his very best right now to keep Leonard Krippner, Craig Evie, two drivers who are, of course, some of the fastest drivers in the world, behind him as a, well, sim racing publicist, content creator. It's actually quite phenomenal. I was giving him so much stick earlier on for being, 10 seconds down. He's in the Dario Franchitti car as well. But he's just doing a fantastic job. This is going to make the meeting even more unbearable tomorrow.
Yeah, indeed it is. I mean, I'll leave you to deal with that. That's nothing I'm involved in. So you're on your own in that one, Luke.
I will let you know, Connery, apparently our audio is coming through nicely through the stream, so I can barely understand what you're saying, but at least it's coming through stream fine, which is all good. John Monroe, again, holding on to what is 7th position. A bit of snaking happening in the background as we see this battle for the leaders. Florian Hasse has got up and ahead of the other two Germans, and now they've got Momo Vera and Hakkinen very close in behind them, but Hasse, Kita and Yarshall are swapping positions like it's football stickers in 1995. This is fantastic.
Yeah, it's great stuff indeed. I mean, they've got to be careful that they don't all slow each other down in this situation, though, because there's a couple of fast drivers, Vera and Hakkinen, that would really love to get themselves stuck in to this situation here as well. Defensive line being taken slightly there from Florian Hasse in the Dame Mercedes, but Kita will continue to try to fight this one, and Yarshall sort of on the outside looking in at this moment in time, doesn't want to get himself too involved just yet, as Kita will bring that car towards the driver's left-hand side. Coming down the straight here, we're going to be trading paint a little bit as they head themselves into the next braking zone. Kita late on the brakes, is able to get himself back ahead and back up into the race lead.
Yeah, it goes through there a little bit too fast, slides the rear up, won't matter though, he's still in the leaders. We see more and more cars taking on that chicane in the background, and the way that chicane is pronounced, it looks like they're all driving off the circuit. As we now see a potential move by Momo Vera forcing Tim Yarshall to be very defensive indeed as they head then into the newer part of the circuit. Of course, it is the old variant, so still the old tarmac and whatnot, but this is what you will recognise from the newer version of the Hockenheimring. It's through the Sachs curves we come. Florian Hasse just falling by the wayside level here. Luca Kita with a bit of a gap to work with now. 18 minutes left on the clock, and the front five separated by 1.8 seconds. It's about to get spicy.
Yep, it really, really is. So
Luca Kita still... Still hanging on to the lead, just about half a second between the three of them. The two of them. Tim Yarshall 9/10 further back. Momo Vera just behind. Turka Hakkinen getting involved, and all of a sudden, Tim Heinemann will be looking at this thinking there is an opportunity here if they keep fighting into the chicanes like they have been, as there's a move being made then, and we might be about to see two drivers go by. Might be about to see three drivers go by our race leader, and there we go. So three drivers making it by, and now all of a sudden it's like a peloton at the front here. They're all sort of working together. A big send potentially from Tim Yarshall, not quite going to work out for him, but now Florian Hasse, once again, same part of the circuit, train lead.
Yeah, it's just great seeing these guys go wheel to wheel. I mean, there's really no love lost out there, and they're giving this a good go. And I mean, we've got 17 minutes of this race to go, and if it's going to be like this all the way, then we're in for a bit of a treat. But all this is doing, like I said before, Vera is now involved in this one. Hakkinen is now involved as well, as Kita, fell back after that little bit of action. Now it's a definite 100% 5-car train for P1 now, whereas it was previously just the 3.
It certainly is, and again, I like the fact that they're not playing it sensible here where, let's just get 3 of us drive away and make it a 3-way battle at the end of this race. They're just fighting. This is an exhibition. They're here for a bit of fun, and they are showcasing their skill set massively here. Again, Florian Hasse, Tim Yarshall, of course, our reigning champ going into last week before, of course, Lucas Muller, his teammate, took the 2025 title. Momo Vera, a podium this year. Luca Kita, who is the only driver who wasn't in the championship, of course, works with Race Room, but is one of the top sim racers in the world on other platforms. And then you've got Turka Hakkinen, who's another driver who really announced himself amongst the elite on Race Room this year, all duking it out, all with different stories to tell, all with the same objective. Go out there, finish the season with, whether it be an exhibition win or not, a win.
Yeah, that's what you got to hope for in this situation. Just a little bit of pride, shall we say. But
yeah,
who's it going to be out of these 5? I just really don't know.
Well, who's going to go into the lead going into the first of our chicanes this time around? Are we going to get 4 cars past our leader? It just seems like it's not a good idea being a leader, although Tim Yarshall has decided, you know what, I am going to give him a little nudge here. I am going to try and push Florian Hasser as far away from the group behind as possible, and it's working. It's working perfectly here, as Momo Vera is actually going to slow down Luca Kita. Kita will just about get ahead, but now they're in trouble. They've got to realise here that they have to get back up with the front 2, otherwise they're going to work together, and they're going to take this P1 and P2.
Yeah, they are. I think the front 2 have sort of figured this out here at this point. They need to be able to work together to be able to push away. But the thing is, Manuel Ferreira, he wants to go. He's going to commit down the inside of Luca Kita.
Oh my God, he sent
chicane. Oh, it was a big send, and actually Hakkinen had to avoid the chicane there in the background too.
Yeah, I think Hakkinen's guilty of watching what was in front of him there. I think he got a little bit too excited and was just kind of like, oh, that's a cool back. Oh, no, I've got a break and missed it. We've all been guilty of that. By the way, Tim Yarshall has absolutely nailed this now. He is pushing Hasser away. They're now 0.8 of a second clear of this group behind. And the group behind now cannot afford to fight if they want to be involved in this hunt for the race win. So now you've got this long run down in towards there's a big spin in the background there. Just John Monroe. So John Monroe done so well, but unfortunately has made a little bit of a mistake there on the exit of the final chicane, and ultimately we'll be in trouble.
Yeah, potentially is. We'll continue to watch continue to pay so much attention to the state of play here in and amongst these top couple of cars. So we will have a little bit of a look about what's going on elsewhere. However, it's been a bit mixed up as drivers, try to really get to grips with some of these cars. I mean, Bo Dixon and George Ortner are the ones that are really close back here. This is the battle for P11 and 12th. Back in the order, but apart from them, everyone's kind of spread themselves out a little bit, very thin.
Yeah, they certainly have. The gap again is about, now 1.1 second or 1.2 seconds, and Tim Yarshall was just going to push Florian Hasser away. They actually nearly come a cropper last time. There was nearly a bit of an incident between the two of them where he pushed a little bit too fast, but as you can see, the gap is now up to 1.7 seconds. My God, they just gained half a second from bump drafting there, and that is the play. That is absolutely the play here. Work together, make this a 1v1 at the end, and I think Tim Yarshall will fancy his chances on the final lap if he's behind, especially going into that first chicane. It seems like the speed you gain is unbelievable.
Yeah, they figured something out here. Have Hasser and Yarshall. They are going to work together probably until maybe the last 2 laps or so. Oh, as Florian Hasser has to abort the chicane. So does
they all took a different line. All five decided they're going to find a different line through there. Some of them a little bit more. I don't know, it worked more than others. Luca Kita's now back involved in this fight, that's for certain, but Florian Hasser made a big pig's ear of that, and those mistakes are ill-afforded because ultimately it will bring another driver involved, and you can't do that 1v1. It will become a 1v1v1.
It would be, I mean that whole situation through the chicane here has kind of put some breathing room in between a lot of these cars at the very front here. Sort of all of a simultaneous incident or simultaneous problem. The front 2 still hold an advantage, yes, but they really need to string together a couple of laps of good bump drafting to be able to try and get away from Kita, Vera and Hakkinen.
Yeah, they know it's possible. They've been doing it for the last 3 laps now. They know it's possible. Luca Kita will be hoping that he can be within the slipstream going into turn number 1 and ultimately then tagging along down towards turn number 2. But I'm just not sure he's quite close enough. Last time, actually, to be fair, 0.9 of a second. It's really as soon as Tim Yarshall latches onto the back of Hasser's car when things indeed... Well, the momentum is just huge. They gained half a second last time round. This time they're only 0.8 clear here. So can Luca Kita catch up? I don't think he can. Now you're going to see them just drive away. The gap is already up to a second. Oh, it's about to become huge. It's now 1.1 seconds, now 1.2. It's mad. It is absolutely mad how much time they are able to gain here. It's up to 1.3. It's about to be up to 1.4. Oh, that's just phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal. But the looks of things is sketchy as hell, so they've got to be absolutely perfect with that, and they are. So if they cannot make a mistake into the second chicane, there might be a bigger gap for them to work with each and every lap they go by there.
Yeah, and Kita's the one left on his lonesome, doesn't have a bump drafting partner, excuse me, to be able to do this with. And he's again messed up the chicane.
Again,
there's so many problems. Yeah, there's so many problems.
He runs wide into that chicane as well. They're just taking their own lines through there at this point, and it's just becoming. Yeah, I think the tyres are starting to really hurt these drivers. They're also panicking to try and get back up towards the front too, but ultimately, the tyres are now starting to scream. Has now come through the second of our chicanes, running back towards the GP layout, as again Florian Hasse makes a massive pig's ear of that massive mistake, which brings Luca Kita back involved. They're struggling for tyres here, Connery. They are massively struggling for tyres. Yeah,
they've got to be at this point. I mean, it just gives all the signs as Yashel. Race lead now is you know, do they orchestrate some of these swap arounds potentially if they feel like one's better bumping than the other, or trying to get, you know, tactical slingshots down the straights or something like that? But over the last couple of moments, Kita's really been able to gain on them.
Yeah, now it does become a three-way race here, and Momo Vera is not far behind as well. If they do have some incidents, perhaps, it should be very interesting. Getting a lovely, again, and this is awesome from Stuzik back in the chat there, which is fantastic to see. This is awesome. Seeing the old cars represented here on the old Hockenheim ring, it is just fantastic stuff, isn't it? It really is. Down towards that chicane. Have they all managed to hit their braking mark this time round? They have. They've dropped Vera a little bit this time round, but it is a definite three-way battle now.
Yeah, I mean, you can just see, I mean, we might see it again coming down this straight, but definitely on the previous one, when Luca Kita stepped out of the slipstream, he immediately just sort of hit a wall and was not able to make any forward progress. So it's going to be very difficult for him to get this pass done if Yashel and Hasse are doing the bump drafting, because as soon as he steps out into the sort of the flow of air outside the slipstream, it just stalls out.
Yeah, no, that is a big fact as well. They had a lot of air on these cars as well. They're very good in terms of sticking to the road. They're punching a big old hole in the air, but it's just a really impressive. I don't know. I just love this era. I love this era of motorsport. They're just sliding around. There was just a lot of driving ability, and I'm not to say that the drivers these days are any worse or any better. Just the cars were so difficult to drive, and it just provided unbelievable entertainment.
Yeah, it is, and that's the main thing that we'd like to get out of motorsports, right? Is to be entertained, and this is very entertaining with the type of driving. I mean, it is very much driver versus, you know, driver in combination with the car versus the track, with really not all that much in between.
So we're into the final 7 minutes of today's final race of this special event that we've had here in honour of the DTM eSports 2025, and Tim Yashel, who was the reigning champ going into the final week of the season, unfortunately did not retain his championship. We still have never had someone defend their championship, is leading the final race here. Florian Hasse, of course, who finished third in the DTM eSports Championship, is currently second in this race, and Luca Kita, who just works for Race Room, is currently fighting at the front with these. This is a very special end to a very special season.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, we've seen. I mean, he's just one of the examples, one of the drivers that we've definitely seen come into their own and grow over the main championship season, and again, you know, doing well in this special event as well is nothing to be sniffed at. I mean, definitely one to look at for the future. That's absolutely for certain. In, you know, even DTM eSports events for the future, or even any other eSports events in the future. I mean, he might be one of the names that definitely gets himself involved as we see 3 wide.
We're going 3 wide here, Connery. We are going 3 wide here, and Tim Yashel now takes the lead of this race. Luca Kita gets blocked off there by Florian Hasse. He's going to run deep, though, through the chicane. And, well, we're heading into the last 5 minutes of this race, and it's still absolutely anybody's. You're right, though. A minute ago, they, as soon as they run out into the clear air, they just hit that big brick wall of clear air, and it becomes very difficult. So, yeah, I'm not sure exactly what position you need to be on that final lap, but I'm just pretty sure it isn't first.
I mean, it depends. I mean, it could be. I mean, there's a lot of variables to consider here. I mean, that's the fact that when you step out, you sort of don't get that expected, overrun of speeds like you would do normally. I think that might work out into the leader's advantage, but yeah, it's not something I would potentially completely rely on for a race win.
Here we go then. Last, 3 laps of this race? Tim Yarshall in the lead, Florian Hasse in second, Luca Kita in third, Momo Vera fourth, Heinemann, Hakkinen, Krippner, Munro, Craigie, Hanya as your top 10. We've got then Bo Dixon, Georg Ortner. We've got Neg, who's just made an overtake on Stiefelhagen by the looks of things, down in P13 and 14. We'll have to see a change of the lead once again. Florian Hasse is going to sweep it around the outside. Luca Keita's going to try and get involved here. He might make a move up the inside, decides against it. So we head then into the first of our chicanes along the back straight, if you want to call it that. It's basically the loud pedal all the way through, apart from those chicanes. But yeah, Hasse now back into the lead.
Yeah, Hasse, pointy end of the field, yes. Whether or not that would be okay for the actual race win at the end of the 4 minutes that we have left to run, that still remains to be seen. Luca Keats down the inside of 1, down the inside at 2, into the chicane. Hasse is overcommitted to the corner.
They've all made a hell of a mess there. They all made a hell of a mess there. Keita and Yarshall have gone through nicely. Yarshall, by the way, with the fastest lap of today's race. But Florian Hasse will surely have some sort of slowdown there and have to return a bit of time. And now there we go. So he's now allowed them to both catch back up. And he's sharing the slipstream between the two drivers as well to try and help them both out. But this is fascinating stuff as to how this is going to end.
Yeah, absolutely fascinating. As it is these top 3 going absolutely crazy in and amongst each other, and it's you could pick any of these 3 out of a hat, and that's about the same idea as we'll get to see as we about as much of a clue as we'll have as who's going to be the winner at this one as any other, as they're continuing to fight here with Tim Yarshall down the inside, a big slide from Keita. And, well, a confidence from Hasse here at the moment, seeing all of this going on behind him.
Yeah, this is fantastic stuff again. What a way to end an enthralling season. 2025 has just had everything about it. We went down to the final corner, basically, in the championship for our DTM eSports Champion 2025. And then we end with maybe the greatest era in DTM history, 1995. I love this era. We also had the ITC Championship where it momentarily went over there, and there's lots of politics, but ultimately the cars were fantastic, and we're seeing this right now. 3 cars here, all basically sniffing what they had for breakfast. They are that close here. I think they're going to have one more lap after this, so I don't think you need to be too rushed into making a move right now, but it is 1 from 3. You could cover these with a loincloth, especially my loincloth. It's very small. Florian Hasse still leads the way.
I'm not sure how to respond to that, I'll be completely honest. But 2 minutes left to go in this race. Tim Yarshall again giving the bump draft, giving the push to Florian Hasse in front. Keita unable to respond to this at the moment, but I think when push comes to shove on a final lap, Hasse having to cut the curb a little bit there, cut the corner with the track limits. I think when we come up to a final lap here, there will be no friends out there on circuit. They'll all be going for the race to win, and there'll be a lot less pushing going on.
Tim Heinemann or Momo Vera wins this race. I really do. I think this is going to be a wacky ending to it. The 3 out front here are definitely putting on a show, let's say, as we come into the last minute of this race. And are they going to get across the... Yeah, I think they just about will, right? Yeah, I think we just about will get one more lap of this, and I'll be gutted if they did give us one more lap, as I think Luca Keita might be about to make a move on Tim Yarshall. He decides against it. You see Tim Yarshall's almost pushing, I say almost pushing, is pushing Florian Hasse into the final section of circuit. He's going to send one up the inside in towards the Sachs curve. Then the door's left open because of that. It was a fake move, but it's forced a mistake there from our race leader, and Luca Kita is all over them like an absolute rash here. 39 seconds left on the clock. I can confirm we will have one more lap of racing for you, and it is absolutely anyone from 3 as Luca Kita makes a mistake. Oh, he does make a mistake. That's cost him here. He's now 7/10 of a second behind, and I think you'll find that might be race over for him.
It could be. It just depends on what happens with the front two, because if they slow each other down enough, then it might bring Kita back into this one. 15 seconds left on the clock here. It is the final lap of this special event. Again, Yarshall tucked up in behind. I don't know quite if he is bump drafting. We'll get to see it. Yes, he is. So continuing to try and get that gap. Maybe step out last minute to try and make this pass done. But no, he stays in line. Make sure they're secure over Kita.
That Kita can guarantee is that they have to fight each other. It is as simple as that. If Yarshall wants to win this race, they have to fight each other, which might give the opportunity then for Luca Kita to catch up. A little bit of a nudge there once again. I think we're going to see a move. Coming up towards the new course, if you like, that section of circuit. As we now, I'll tell you what's a mistake there from Tim Yarshall. Now look how close Luca Kita has got here. So the mistake there from Yarshall has cost him. And are we about to see a potential move for second? It's Florian Hassan now too far ahead. Still got one more chicane to negotiate. And are we going to see a big send here? Is Yarshall close enough to be that driver? He's not quite close enough this time around. And Luca Kita has noticeably just pulled out there and decided, you know what, I'm not really going to make anything happen right now. And here we go. I think this is the key moment of this race. The exhibition race of this special event. Are we about to see 2 DTM eSports title protagonists get scolded from a race room employee? Down then they come towards the right hander. Luca Kita has got that inside line. It's going to be 3 wide as contact between the front 2 here. Hasser is just about going to keep his car going in a straight line. It's phenomenal stuff here as Yarshall's going to send one, I think, at the inside of both of them. Decides against it. Can Kita keep the overlap? Can Kita keep the overlap? Oh, he cannot do it. Florian Hasser retakes the lead. 2 corners to go. Yarshall and indeed Luca Kita fighting tooth and nail. They swap the inside line. Yarshall's going to retake second. Luca Kita's now going to retake it as well. He might get the win here. He might get the win here. He doesn't. Florian Hassan just about hangs on. Oh my God, what a finale we've had here in the DTM eSports 2025. Connery, I cannot breathe. That was ace. Holy balls, that was amazing.
What a final sector. Amongst all of the drivers involved there. That was crazy racing amongst all 3. It's Hassa that takes the win, but my word, it could be any one of the 3 of them. At the very last moments there, we thought Kita was completely out of it at the start of the lap after losing so much time, but brought himself back in, got himself the push, and well, Hassa ends up getting the race win still, but it was a fantastic effort from everyone involved to try and make that a fantastic show at the very end. My word.
I don't really know what to say. I really don't know what to say, to be honest. That was just outrageous. It looked like Hassa had won it an absolute canter when there was a send up the inside from Yarshall. Then Yarshall and Kita swapped the inside line 3 times in the final 3 corners. And Kita nearly still got both of them going into the final corner in 3rd and nearly ended up 1st. I just don't, like, poor Hassa was taking every perfect line possible. It still wasn't enough. Oh, it ended up being enough, but that was just superb. Absolutely superb.
This is a fun fact. Luca Kita didn't actually put in any instant point, any valid lap over the course of that race, so he's actually not got a fastest lap.
That is absolutely outstanding. I just don't really know what to say about that. That is just quite ridiculous there. We've got a lot of them are waiting in the interview for the German stream. I don't know whether we just drag... I don't know. I guess we've got to let them do the German interview first. I think they're dragging them in now.
Yeah.
They've dragged in the race winner. We're dragging Luca Kita, okay? So, please, Luca, I know you're talking. You've just been dragged into the English stream.
Hello.
Mate, I cannot believe that you still had a chance of winning that race in that the final 3 corners. You and Tim had the inside line on each other 3 different times. Hassa had the best line for all of those corners, and yet you still managed to go into the final corner third and nearly win it. You talk us through that, because that was mental.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit tough. Florian and Tim, of course, push each other all the time. And as soon as I was in the draft and I wanted to move out of the draft, I instantly lost that that gain of the slipstream, which made it impossible to get them on the straight. Basically, you saw instantly. I was not like lifting before the corner. It was for me straight up. Okay, yeah, I was full throttle, but this draft was kicking me so much back. And then, I mean, I changed the layout a little bit for myself and get back onto it. Otherwise, I would drive away. No, but I wanted to make it fun at the end. And yeah, I don't know, this 5 last corners, it was like hilarious. I don't know what was going on. Pushing here on the outside, then inside, outside, as you already said. It was crazy fun. I really enjoy these cars more than GT3s. And especially on such a track, it makes so much fun. It's incredible.
Notice about you. You actually obviously race on other sims as well as one of the top drivers in the world. How hard is it to transition? Obviously, you work for Race Room, but how hard is it to transition between sims and be competitive with drivers with such as Tim Heinemann? Jesus Christ, he was our champion in 2024.
Yeah, I mean that's the hard part. It's really tough. It's really crazy different, but on some way I really like that. And of course, yeah, it needs a bit time to adjust to it. For a lot of drivers, it's the same, but yeah, of course, these tracks help as well. But yeah, the adaptation was really, really tricky at the beginning, and I took a few hours beforehand and definitely practice it. To make it like that at the end, to have fun with the top drivers of Race Room, of course, like Tim Jarsche and Florian Hasse. So was tough, but was nice. Yeah.
Well, congratulations, mate, and stop trolling the Red Line channel, or I'll ban you. Have a good one, mate.
Have a good one, Chacha.
All right, let's bring in Mr. Timothy Yarshall. Tim, you thought the stress was over with at the end of this championship, but then you have that final race to kick things. What on earth is going through your head? Oh my God.
Hi. It was a very funny last event, I would say.
Oh wow, yeah, and it seemed stressful. I was stressed. I'm just commentating on it. Like, just talk us through that final sector of the final lap.
But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where the situation was. So there was a lot of contact, and then I tried to come back in the last corner in the inside on Luca, but he crossed me, and then no chance. On the throttle, then P3 in the end, but it was funny, and it's okay.
No, fair play, mate. Well, this is the last interview we'll do with you this year. Hopefully we'll speak to you next year, mate. You defended the title valiantly. You took it at least to the final weekend, so you are a very, very worthy champion from 2024, and maybe your second time will come in 2026, mate.
Yeah, I hope so, and then I will start next year, I would say, and let's see what happens.
Nice one, mate. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Yes, thanks.
Right, and let's bring in our race winner. A bit of a different feeling to how the finale went, Florian, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. Of course, they had that big incident into the hairpin at Hockenheim. But today, my God, what a different race that was. That was ridiculous in that last race.
Yeah, that was fun, of course. I have to say sorry because I wasn't prepared to be in Zoom anymore, so sorry for that. But yeah, the races were quite fun today. Yeah.
We actually haven't got your image rights. We couldn't afford them today anyway, so it doesn't matter.
It's fine.
But what were you thinking when Luca, who was third going into the final corner, all of a sudden his nose starts appearing next to you? What was going through your head?
I mean, to be honest, like today was about fun. So if we would have crashed there, it wouldn't have been a major issue for me. But it was fun. The last lap was quite interesting, I'd say, because Tim and myself were speaking because we saw Luca was quite far down on start finish, so we thought that would be just between us. But he was like, I don't give a fuck about anything, and just went straight on the chicane. So that was quite interesting, I'd say. But I mean, the last corner was like, just keep the car on the track. Luca was on my inside. He was trying to get both of us. And I was trying to keep the car on track. That's it, I guess.
It did look like that, mate. Well, enjoy your break. I'm sure we'll see you in 2026 and try and go for a title then. But you've been a lot of entertainment this year, and you've always been fun in the interviews. So yeah, good luck for the rest of the year, mate.
Yeah, thank you. Bye bye.
Well, there it is, Connery. It's done. It's over. 2025. It's 2025 still, right? Yeah, it's in the books. That is the DTM eSports finale, super smashing finale. Done and dusted. The special round it's called, I guess. Any final thoughts from you?
Yeah, I mean that just tops off what was a crazy main season, right? Because we had so many different winners, we had all sorts of championship contenders, very close in the points towards the end, lots of great battles throughout the season. That's been reflected in the special event as well, especially towards the end there. I don't think we could have really asked for it to end in a better way.
Season where wow, you know, most seasons were normally done before the final weekend, but this year we absolutely were not. It went to the final corner, and very appropriately, the special event or the special round also went to the final corner. It's been a phenomenal season. Thank you to everybody who has watched at home. We've obviously crowned a new champion in Lucas Muller. We have crowned some new title protagonists in the likes of Philip Dreys, who was a race winner this year, Momo Vera in his first ever major esports competition, managing to get himself a podium, managed to get a race win this evening as well. Vil Cravey, another driver, Turka Hakkinen, lots of new names in an already very saturated esports market on Raceroom. Raceroom's esports is in very safe hands, and I'm very, very excited to see what comes in 2026, especially with DTM esports. From me and Connery, and from everyone behind the scenes, we bid you a farewell, and we'll see you in 2026.